No, I'm not a writer.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in with some vegetable oil. That's just about a tablespoon of vegetable oil, and we are continuing with the in-season series. So again, we're using strawberries again, freshly harvested. You would have seen me already do a couple videos with these. We've got some onion and garlic. If you want to crush the garlic, you can certainly crush the garlic. I just gave everything a rough chop. What we're going to do, my heat is on medium, but I'm going to turn it down and sweat it just for about 4 or 5 minutes. And what I mean by sweat is a gentle low heat so the garlic doesn't burn, but we get all the flavors from the garlic and the onion. Just starting to pick up a little bit of color. And the whole idea with this recipe is to use what's in season, which are the strawberries. I want to sort of accent the flavor of that with what we call, if you are from Trinidad and Tobago, we call this babash. Most of you will call it moonshine. So it is, not so legal. If you don't have the babash or moonshine, you can use dark rum. What I'm going to do is turn up my heat a little bit back to medium. I want to bring this up. Oh, wait a minute, that wasn't the babash. That was apple cider vinegar. Sorry. This is the babash, or the, some of you may call it moonshine. Ooh, strong stuff, boy. But anyhow, what I want to do at this point is to give that a nice stir, like so. And that's going to start melting down. If you want to turn your heat down at this point, I urge you to do that, because an open flame will cause what's called flambe. So I'm just going to go inside gently and add that in there. I'm going to bring that up to a boil. It's going to burn off the alcohol, but it's going to flavor everything. And speaking about flavor, what I'm going to do is add my salt at this point as well, because that salt will help to bring out all those flavors. I'm using a large pot because later on we'll need to break this down with an immersion blender. So that's the reason for having such overkill when it comes to the size of the pot. What I also want to do at this point is add my sugar, and I'm using sugar cane sugar, raw cane sugar. Just gonna add that in there, give that a stir. Won't take long for it to come up to a boil. I can really smell that moonshine shining through there. So the two sort of flavors I really want out of this barbecue sauce, first of all, is strawberries, and two, that moonshine. Now we need other ingredients in there. For a little bit more heat, for a little bit of heat, I like some dry mustard and some chili flakes. If you don't like it spicy, you don't have to. With all the sweetness in there, we need some balance, and the acidity will come courtesy of some apple cider vinegar. We also need tomato ketchup in there. Just gonna let that all scrape in. Worcestershire sauce and molasses. And remember that molasses will not only bring that earthiness, that sort of nice depth of earthiness, but also have a sweet layer in there as well. A couple more ingredients I want. You really need 2 large bay leaves, but all I have is these small ones, so it's gonna be 4 pieces. But you need 2 large bay leaves and a good crank of black pepper. That's another stir. And I just want to let that go on a rolling boil until everything softens up, all those flavors come together. So I want, typically a barbecue sauce should be done in about 30-35 minutes. I'm going to go about 45 to 50 minutes on this, because I want it to slowly break down and release all those flavors. It's been going on that sort of rolling boil / simmer for 50 minutes, 50 minutes. I allowed it to go a little bit beyond the 45-minute mark, and you can see it's starting to fall apart now. So what we need to do is a couple things. We're going to fish out the bay leaves out of there, and very easy. Just try and find them. Just be mindful of how many you have in there. There's another one over here. There's a couple more pieces. And then we're gonna turn the stove off because I don't want it splashing everywhere. And we're gonna go in with the immersion blender to puree or make it nice and smooth. You have the option here now of, controlling the sort of texture consistency of it. I want it thick but smooth, so I'm gonna go all the way on this, yeah? This is to the perfect consistency that I like, and you can see the back of my spoon at parts ways. Brilliant. Oh wow, that's just insanely good, man. What I like to do at the very end here, you have two options. Well, two things you can add in here. Some finely chopped chive. If you had chives, you want to, really fine, just to give it that little garlic undertone at the end here. But I also like is a bit of olive oil, and that olive oil is going to give it a sheen. So I'm just going to move that around. It's be nice and shiny, that beautiful sheen. If you wanted to put a stick of, not a stick, a couple tablespoons of butter instead, it will add a nice richness to it. But Chris here, that new series that we're doing in season, we just made strawberry, moonshine, or babash, depending where you're from, barbecue sauce. You're going to slap this on your pork chops, your chicken, your whatever. You want it as a dipping sauce for your chicken nuggets? Yes, and remember that alcohol will have burnt out, so don't minute amount maybe. Alright, so it's safe for everybody. I guarantee you. Just look at that now. That is pure proper things right there.